to be a victim, you have to volunteer. And someone who has higher consciousness doesn't volunteer to suffer. If you're conscious enough, you see it and you stop it. You don't do it.
What is the root cause of human suffering?
Resistance to life. Resistance to anything creates suffering. And so the antidote to suffering is acceptance of life, non-resistance to what is. But human beings don't seem to understand that, and they continue to resist life. Those whose consciousness levels have risen don't resist life and don't suffer. Higher consciousness rocks, because in higher consciousness you see the consequences of everything that you do and everything you say. And you don't go into resistance because you're not into your own suffering.
You said that human beings don't seem to understand that suffering is caused by resistance. So that's something that you've taught people for many years. Other teachers before you have taught the same thing. Why is it, do you think, that people just don't get it?
Well, in lower consciousness, people believe that they can be victims of things, other people, situations. In higher consciousness, that belief doesn't exist, because to be a victim, you have to volunteer. And someone who has higher consciousness doesn't volunteer to suffer. Because every time we turn ourselves into a victim, we go into resistance and we suffer. And if you're conscious enough, you see it and you stop it. You don't do it. But if you're not conscious enough, you remain resisting life, being a victim of this, that, and the other. It's up to you. We live in a very victim-orientated society, the West. And so the suffering is pretty great.
How come suffering can continue even when someone intellectually understands the cause of it?
They may intellectually understand, but that doesn't help. What helps is the practice of not resisting, the practice of let go and the practice of acceptance. And it's only with these practices that we change the default patterns of resistance. And so someone can intellectually understand that resistance equals suffering, but unless they've practiced something different to what they're programmed to do, the original default patterns will continue. Just because you see something doesn't mean that you change the default patterns of your mind. It just means you can see it. And insight is the invitation to do the work. It is not the answer.
What does it take for suffering to completely end?
Death will do it.
Temporarily.
Enlightenment will do it. Someone who's enlightened doesn't resist life if they're fully enlightened, so they don't suffer. But you can end most of your suffering, if not all of your suffering, before enlightenment if you're not resisting life. It's up to you. What do you practice? If you practice resistance, you'll be good at it. If you practice acceptance and let go, you'll be good at it. Whatever you practice, you get good at. So what do you practice?
Does searching for enlightenment to end suffering, does that work?
Ultimately, no. It'll take you about halfway. At some point, you have to fall in love with truth. And in the falling in love with truth, you become willing to die for truth. You become willing to let everything go. If you're just trying to get away from suffering, that's not enough. That'll take you halfway. The people who wake up are in love with truth.
Do you distinguish between psychological and physical pain and suffering?
Pain is pain. Pain isn't suffering. Pain is pain. Suffering is when we resist pain. or resist discomfort, that's suffering. Pain is just pain. Someone who's awake will experience pain, but they won't suffer because they won't resist.